Hey everyone, it's that math magician. On this video, we're going to take another look at circles and we're going to focus in on a sector of a circle. Think of it like this. A sector of a circle is sort of like a slice of pizza, right? It's not the whole pizza, not the whole circle we're looking at. It's just a part of the pizza or that slice. So, for this video, let's look at that slice of the pizza, or what we call a sector of a pizza. We have it right there. Notice that it's not the whole circle. If I really wanted to, I could sort of trace out what that whole circle would look like, right? But it's not the whole circle that I'm interested in. I only want to focus in on the sector of that circle. Now, for that sector, we can do a couple of things. The first thing we can do is we can find the area for that sector. We can do that by using our area formula, which is pi r squared for a circle. So I'm going to get pi r squared. My radius here, notice it's already labeled for us, is 12 inches. I know that's the radius because it's going from the center to the edge of that circle. In our case here for our sector, that side length of that sector is 12 inches. So I'm going to use that for our radius. Now, I do not want the entire area of the circle, right? I'm not interested in that whole pizza. I'm only interested in that slice of the pizza or that sector. So even though I can do this and get 12 squared, which is 144, I do know that the entire area for that whole circle is 144 pi. But I don't care about that because my pizza slice there is made up of 72 degrees of that circle. Remember that a circle's degrees, right? If we were to fill this all the way in, that entire circle filled in would be 360 degrees. But I don't want all 360. I just want 72 degrees of the full 360. So I have to just adjust this formula real quick by showing that I only want 72 degrees out of the 360 degrees. When you're working on these problems at home and you're looking at your sector of the circle, whatever that angle is that you have, in our case, our angle here is 72 degrees. That's the number you're going to put as the numerator for your fraction. It'll always be over 360 because the angles inside of the circle add up to 360. But we want our piece of the pie. So I know it's going to be 72 out of 360. The final thing we have to do here is just put that into our calculator so we can figure out the area of our sector. Remember, the whole area was 144 pi, but we want the area of just our little sector. So let's do that. So I have here our Desmos calculator where I can just type in our fraction, 72 over 360. Notice how it makes that fraction for us. And then I'm just going to times it by 144. I'm not going to put the pi in. I could put that pi symbol in. That'll give us the exact value for the area of the sector. But I don't want the exact value. I want the pi form value. And so that's why I'm just going to leave this as 28.8 pi inches squared. That is the area of our sector of that entire circle. Again, the entire circle was 144 pi, but we're just going to take 72 out of the 360 degrees. All right, that's how we get our area. The next thing we can do is we can find the length of the arc of that sector right there. That is what we call the arc of the sector. That is part of the circumference of the circle. Imagine if I continued going around like that all the way around. I would have the circumference of that circle. In our case now, I just want to find the length of that arc or the length of the part of that circle. So I just have to get my circumference formula, which is C equals 2 pi r. Again, I'm using that whole area circumference formula for a circle, but I'm not going to use the entire circumference. I'm just going to want part of my circumference. Now, our radius is still going to be the same. It is still 12 inches. And again, the entire circumference for that circle would be 24 pi. But again, I don't want the entire circumference. I want the length of my arc, that highlighted yellow piece. Again, it is made up of 72 degrees out of 360 degrees. So I'm going to use that same exact fraction, 72 degrees out of 360 degrees so I can get the part of that circle that I care about, right? I don't want the entire circumference. I want the part of that circumference. And again, now we can just use our calculator from Desmos.com, punch that in, and we'll be able to see what that circumference is. So look, same exact fraction, 72 over 360. Now I'm going to times it by the 24. Again, not putting in the pi because I want to leave it in pi form. And it looks like we end up with 4.8 pi inches. That is the arc length for that sector. Again, it's not the entire circumference, but it's part of the circumference. Alrighty, the very final thing that we can do is that we could actually find the perimeter for that sector of the circle. Remember, to find the perimeter of any shape is really just taking the perimeter of that shape, is getting all the sides and adding them up, right? If I want to find the perimeter of any shape, I just look at all the sides and add them up. Well, I know that this part, that radius of this sector, is 12 inches. So I can take 12 plus, I think the other side of that sector is also going to be 12 inches because it's another radius, right? So I can take 12 plus 12. The final piece that I can add in now is that arc length that we found, right? That highlighted yellow piece. And that is 4.8 pi. Okay, those are all three sides of that sector. If I want the perimeter, I can add them all together. Now notice that when I do this, 12 plus 12 is going to make 24 plus the 4.8 pi. Be very careful. This does not equal 28.8 pi. You cannot combine a whole number like this and then a pi form number like this together. It's the same thing as trying to do 24 plus 4.8x. Hopefully we know that we would never, ever combine those because they are not like terms. Okay, they are different values. So just like with that x value, we cannot combine those to create 28.8 pi. What I can do is leave that in pi form. That could be the answer, 24 plus 4.8 inches. If I want the exact value, well, then I just have to get my calculator out and type that expression in. So I could type in 24 plus 4.8 pi and get the exact perimeter of that sector. It ends up being 39.0. Looks like it's going to round to 39.080. 39.080 inches. That is the exact value. That there is our pi value. And if you didn't believe me before that it's not the same thing as 28.8 pi, look at those two values. They are not the same. Okay, so be very careful when you're working on these problems alone. Okay, you want to make sure either you're leaving it in pi form or you're getting the exact value, but you cannot combine those to 28.8 pi. I hope this video was helpful for you so that you could see how to find the area of a sector, the arc length of a sector, and then finally the entire perimeter of that sector. It's That Math Magician, and I'll see you on the next video.